Hello everyone. Welcome back to Naruto Fix. Today we have another interesting what if Naruto story. Which is what if Naruto discovered Daemon was afraid of him. Part 1. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Now, without wasting any time, let's begin. The first time Naruto Uzumaki met Daemon. The boy smiled while threatening to kill everyone around him. Which honestly, was deeply unsettling. The afternoon sun hung quietly above Konoha. Birds drifted lazily across the sky. And inside the Hokage office, Naruto already regretted this meeting. Why is he upside down? Daemon hung from the ceiling casually while spinning slowly like gravity meant absolutely nothing to him. Beside him, Ada sighed tiredly. He likes making entrances. Naruto pointed upward immediately. He looks like a possessed squirrel. Daemon instantly dropped from the ceiling. Whoosh! He landed directly in front of Naruto with glowing red eyes and an enormous grin. I heard that. Naruto blinked. You move really fast. The small boy tilted his head slightly. And you smell weird. Honestly. Rude. Nearby, Shikamaru Nara already looked exhausted beyond human limits. Can we please survive one meeting without reality-threatening children? No one answered. Because honestly, that seemed impossible lately. Daemon suddenly hopped onto Naruto's desk casually. Then froze. His grin disappeared instantly. Silence filled the office. Naruto frowned slightly. What? Daemon stared directly into Naruto's eyes now. And for the first time, something strange crossed his expression. Not anger. Not excitement. Fear. Tiny. Quick. But real. Naruto noticed immediately. Kid. Daemon immediately jumped backward off the desk. Too fast. Almost panicked. Everyone froze. Because Daemon never reacted like that. Ever. Even Ada blinked slightly. Daemon. The boy's glowing eyes narrowed sharply at Naruto now. Like he suddenly noticed something horrifying standing in front of him. Naruto awkwardly scratched his cheek. Did I accidentally offend another dangerous cosmic child? Daemon didn't answer. Instead, he quietly whispered, "You're different." The atmosphere inside the Hokage office shifted instantly. Shikamaru's eyes narrowed carefully. Naruto frowned. Different how? Silence. Daemon slowly stepped backward again. Still staring directly at Naruto. Then softly, almost suspiciously, "Why aren't you afraid of me?" Naruto blinked. "Should I be?" Quote. Shikamaru immediately answered, "Yes, honestly. Fair." Daemon ignored everyone except Naruto. His red eyes remained strangely focused now. Studying. Watching. Like he expected Naruto to transform into something terrifying any second. Naruto crossed his arms stubbornly. "Well, now I kinda wanna know what's wrong." Daemon's expression darkened slightly. "You don't react normally." Ada quietly looked toward Naruto too. Because honestly, Daemon terrified almost everyone instinctively. Even powerful shinobi avoided eye contact around him. But Naruto just looked confused. Then suddenly, Kurama growled softly inside the seal. "The boy feels it." Quote. Naruto frowned internally. "Feels what?" Silence. Then quieter. "You." The answer honestly explained nothing. Daemon suddenly pointed directly at Naruto. "You've killed gods before." Silence crushed the room. Naruto blinked. "Technically yes. And you're too calm about it." The small boy's voice rose slightly now. Almost frustrated. Naruto shrugged awkwardly. "I mean," he counted on his fingers slightly. "Pain." Quote. Kagaya. Madara. Alien moon people. He looked genuinely tired suddenly. Honestly, after a while you stop questioning stuff. Even Shikamaru almost laughed weakly hearing that. But Daemon didn't laugh. Because deep down, he sensed something deeply wrong about Naruto Uzumaki. Not evil. Worse. Unbreakable. The boy slowly looked toward Ada. Why does he feel like that? Ada's glowing eyes narrowed slightly. Because now, she sensed it too. Naruto's chakra remained warm, kind, human. But beneath it, something terrifying existed. Not Kurama exactly. Willpower. The kind built through endless suffering. Endless survival. And somehow, Daemon looked genuinely disturbed by it. Naruto noticed immediately. "Kid, Demon's eyes snapped toward him instantly. Stop calling me kid. You are literally tiny. I can kill you. Naruto pointed dramatically. See, that is why people don't trust you. Unexpectedly, Demon went silent again, then quietly whispered, "Number." Silence. Naruto frowned. "Number what?" The boy slowly stepped backward. And for the first time, his confidence looked cracked. "I can't." The room froze completely. Even Ada stared sharply now. Because Demon feared absolutely nobody. Not Code. Not Naruto. Not Otsutsuki. Nobody. But right now, he looked deeply unsettled standing near Naruto. Shikamaru's expression darkened instantly. "Explain." Demon clenched his fist slightly. Then quietly answered. "His reflection doesn't work normally." Quote. Silence. Naruto blinked. What reflection? Ada immediately understood, and her eyes widened sharply. Your ability. Demon nodded once slowly. The atmosphere became suffocating instantly. Because Demon's power reflected killing intent automatically. Anyone trying to harm him suffered their own attack instead. An absolute defense. Except apparently, something about Naruto interfered with it. The boy's voice lowered slightly. When I look at him, he stared directly at Naruto again. It feels like something else is looking back. Kurama growled softly inside the seal. Interesting. Naruto frowned internally. Can you stop being cryptic today? The Nine Tails sounded amused now. The boy's instincts are smart. Demon suddenly stepped closer carefully, like approaching a sleeping predator. Then softly whispered, "What are you really?" Naruto stared blankly for several seconds. Then pointed at himself. A very stressed Hokage. Honestly. Fair answer. But Demon didn't smile. Because deep down, he sensed it stronger now. Naruto carried something horrifying beneath all that warmth. Not hatred. Not darkness. Something much scarier. The ability to keep enduring endlessly. Demon had met powerful people before. Cruel people. Broken people. Monsters. But Naruto felt different. Like someone who survived enough pain to stop fearing anything completely. And somehow, that terrified Demon more than violence ever could. Then suddenly, Naruto stepped closer casually. Whoosh. Demon instantly flinched backward violently. The entire office froze. Because Demon never flinched. Ever. Naruto immediately raised both hands. Whoa. Okay, now I definitely need answers. Demon stared at Naruto, breathing unevenly now. Then quietly whispered the sentence that changed everything. I saw your future for 1 second. Quote. Silence crushed the Hokage office. Naruto blinked. You can do that. Demon ignored him completely. His red eyes looked shaken now. Actually shaken. Then softly. Why are you still smiling in it? Silence swallowed the Hokage office whole. Why are you still smiling in it? Demon's voice sounded quieter now. Not mocking. Not playful. Afraid. And honestly, that was way more disturbing. Naruto Uzumaki blinked repeatedly. Okay. He pointed awkwardly. Everybody keeps predicting horrible things about my future lately, and I'm starting to feel attacked. No one laughed. Because Demon genuinely looked shaken. The small boy slowly stepped backward again. Red eyes locked onto Naruto like he expected something monstrous to emerge from him at any second. Nearby, Ada narrowed her glowing eyes carefully. What did you see? Silence. Demon's fists clenched slightly. Then softly. Death. Naruto immediately sighed dramatically. Yeah, that keeps happening too. Still, nobody laughed. Because Demon's expression kept getting worse. The boy slowly looked toward Naruto again. Everyone around you dies eventually. Silence crushed the office. Even Shikamaru Nara's expression darkened instantly. Naruto frowned slightly. That's not exactly unique for shinobi. Demon shook his head immediately. No. Then quieter. That's not the scary part. The air inside the office suddenly felt colder. Demon stared directly into Naruto's blue eyes now. You survive every time. Kurama growled softly inside the seal. The child saw your core. Naruto frowned internally. Still not helping. The Nine Tails sounded unusually serious now. He saw what suffering turned you into. Demon suddenly whispered. You lose everything. Silence. And somehow, his red eyes trembled slightly. You keep loving people anyway. The room froze completely, because suddenly, everyone understood why Daemon looked disturbed. Naruto's future wasn't terrifying because of destruction. It was terrifying because Naruto never broke. The small boy slowly lowered his gaze. That shouldn't be possible. Naruto stared silently for a few seconds. Then scratched his cheek awkwardly. Therapy would probably help honestly. Even Shikamaru almost choked hearing that. But Daemon still didn't smile. Because the future he glimpsed for 1 second haunted him already. He saw Naruto older, alone, standing in front of burning ruins. Bloodied, exhausted, and still smiling gently at frightened people behind him. Like suffering itself failed to change him completely. Daemon whispered quietly, "You scare me." The sentence hit the room harder than any explosion. Because Daemon feared nobody, not even Otsutsuki. Yet Naruto, the warm idiot making bad jokes every 5 minutes, terrified him somehow. Naruto blinked repeatedly. "I literally offered you ramen earlier." That makes it worse. What does that mean? Ada quietly observed Daemon now. Because honestly, she had never seen him react like this before. Not once. Daemon usually laughed during fights, played with danger, mocked powerful people, but near Naruto, he acted cautious, instinctively cautious, like some deeper part of him recognized something ancient and dangerous inside Naruto's spirit. Then suddenly, Daemon pointed directly at Naruto again. "You don't hate enough." Silence. Naruto frowned. "Excuse me." The boy's voice became sharper now. "You should hate people." Red eyes narrowed intensely. "Everything they did to you." The office became very quiet. Because suddenly, Daemon sounded almost angry about it. Naruto slowly crossed his arms. "Well," he looked away briefly. "Sometimes I did." Silence. Then softer. "But if I stayed angry forever I'd just become miserable." Daemon froze slightly. Because that answer genuinely confused him. The boy slowly whispered, "That's stupid." Naruto grinned immediately. "Correct. Honestly. Fair." But Daemon kept staring, trying desperately to understand. Because every powerful person he ever met was driven by something ugly. Hatred, fear, obsession, pain. Naruto carried all those scars too. But somehow, they didn't define him anymore. And Daemon couldn't understand how. Then suddenly, Kurama spoke quietly inside Naruto. "The child expected you to become a monster." Naruto froze slightly internally. Oh, the realization hit hard instantly. Daemon wasn't afraid Naruto would hurt people. He was afraid Naruto wouldn't. Because someone surviving that much suffering without becoming cruel felt unnatural, impossible. Daemon slowly stepped closer again carefully. "Why didn't you break?" Naruto blinked. "Huh, you were alone." Daemon's voice lowered quieter now. "People feared you." The office lights flickered softly around them. "You lost Jiraiya, lost Kurama once, lost Sasuke over and over." Silence. And still, Daemon's red eyes narrowed slightly. "You smile at people." The sentence sounded almost accusing. Naruto looked at him quietly for several long seconds. Then softly answered, "Because someone smiled at me first." Silence crushed the room. Naruto scratched his cheek awkwardly. "Iruka-sensei." Then softer. After that it got easier to keep going. Daemon froze completely. Because honestly, the answer sounded too simple. Too human. The terrifying future he glimpsed, the impossible resilience, came from one person showing Naruto kindness once. The idea genuinely shook him. Then unexpectedly, Naruto walked forward again. This time slower. No sudden movement. Daemon stayed still carefully. Naruto stopped directly in front of him. Then grinned slightly. "You know." He pointed lightly at Daemon's forehead. "You look way too stressed for a kid." "I'm not a kid. You are literally tiny. I could erase you." Naruto shrugged. "Probably." Silence. Then softer. "But you haven't." Daemon froze slightly. Because Naruto said it naturally. Like he already trusted Daemon not to hurt him. The realization unsettled the boy immediately. Naruto continued casually. So deep down you're probably not as scary as you pretend. Silence crushed the office again. Ada's eyes widened slightly. Because somehow, Naruto just said the one thing Demon hated most. That he might actually still be human emotionally. Demon's expression darkened instantly. Wrong. But the denial sounded weaker now. Naruto noticed too. Then suddenly, the lights inside the office flickered violently. WHOOOOOOOOOOOM. Everyone froze instantly. A massive pressure spread across Konoha. Cold, ancient, wrong. Shikamaru's expression sharpened immediately. Not again. Outside, the sky above the village distorted unnaturally. Black cracks spread across reality itself. And standing within them, several pale figures slowly appeared. Otsutsuki. Demon's expression changed instantly. Not fear this time. Hatred. Pure hatred. The boy quietly whispered. They found us. Naruto stepped toward the window sharply. Us. Ada's glowing eyes darkened. They're here for Demon. Silence. Naruto slowly turned back toward the siblings. Okay. He pointed aggressively. Can one dangerous person in my life stop being hunted by alien gods for 5 minutes? Honestly. Completely valid complaint. Then suddenly, one of the Otsutsuki floating above Konoha looked directly toward the Hokage office. And smiled. Demon instantly grabbed Naruto's sleeve. Hard. Everyone froze. Because Demon never reached for help. Ever. The small boy's voice came out barely above a whisper. Don't let them take me. The entire Hokage office froze. Don't let them take me. Demon's small hand gripped Naruto Uzumaki's sleeve tightly. And honestly, that terrified everyone more than the Otsutsuki outside. Because Demon feared nobody. Not pain. Not death. Not gods. Yet right now, his voice shook slightly. Naruto looked down at him blankly. Then softly asked, who are they really? Outside the Hokage office window, black fractures spread endlessly across Konoha's sky. Several pale figures floated within the distortion silently. Watching. Waiting. Ancient glowing eyes locked directly onto the village below. And the pressure coming from them felt suffocating. Ada slowly stepped closer to the window. Her glowing blue eyes narrowed sharply. The surviving branch. Shikamaru frowned instantly. Meaning. Silence. Then quietly, the Otsutsuki who believed humanity should have been erased centuries ago. Honestly, Naruto was getting really tired of hearing sentences like that. He pointed at the sky aggressively. Why does every cosmic monster have a genocide hobby? No one answered. Because honestly. Fair question. Then suddenly, one of the floating Otsutsuki smiled wider. And Naruto immediately felt it. Its attention. Not toward the village. Toward Demon specifically. The small boy's grip on Naruto's sleeve tightened harder. Kurama growled sharply inside the seal. They want the child. Naruto frowned internally. Why? Silence. Then colder. Because he shouldn't exist. The answer made Naruto's stomach twist. Demon quietly stepped behind Naruto slightly. Instinctively. Like some deeper part of him already decided Naruto was safe. Ada noticed too. And for one brief second, sadness crossed her face. Because Demon trusted almost nobody. Yet somehow, he trusted Naruto already. Then suddenly, the sky split wider. Boom. One Otsutsuki descended directly toward the Hokage office instantly. The building shook violently. Shikamaru immediately formed hand signs. Everyone move. Too late. CRAAAAAAASH. The office wall exploded inward violently. Dust flooded everywhere. Naruto instantly shielded Demon and Ada with Kurama chakra arms. Golden energy erupted through the room. And standing inside the destruction, a tall pale Otsutsuki slowly lowered its hand. Ancient white robes drifted softly through the smoke. Its glowing silver eyes calmly observed Demon. Then Naruto. Then back to Demon again. Silence crushed the ruined office. Then quietly, the Otsutsuki spoke. So the anomaly hides behind the Jinchuriki. Demon's expression darkened instantly. I'm not hiding. Quote. The Otsutsuki ignored him completely. Instead, Its eyes remained fixed on Naruto now. And suddenly, Naruto noticed something strange. The creature looked cautious. Not afraid exactly. Careful. Like it recognized something dangerous about Naruto too. Naruto pointed immediately. Okay, everybody keeps doing that weird stare thing at me and I'm over it. Unexpectedly, the Otsutsuki answered calmly. You survived destinies that should have consumed you. Silence. Naruto blinked. Wow. He crossed his arms. That sounds vaguely threatening. The ancient being slowly stepped forward through the destroyed office. Reality distorted around its feet unnaturally. Then softly, you destabilize inevitability. Kurama growled deeply. They fear your will. Naruto frowned internally. Why does everybody keep making stubbornness sound cosmic? Then suddenly, Daemon whispered quietly behind him. Don't let it touch me. Naruto glanced backward slightly, and seeing genuine fear inside Daemon's eyes, changed something instantly. Because despite all the threats, despite the terrifying powers, Daemon suddenly looked exactly like a scared child. Naruto sighed deeply. Yeah, okay. Golden chakra flared brighter around him. You're under Hokage protection now. Shikamaru immediately looked horrified. Naruto. What? That's not how diplomacy works. Quote. Naruto pointed at the alien god inside his destroyed office. It broke my wall. Honestly. Solid argument. The Otsutsuki calmly extended one hand toward Daemon. Return willingly. Silence. Then colder. Or your existence will be corrected permanently. Daemon's red eyes narrowed sharply. But Naruto stepped in front of him before he could answer. Nope. The room froze. Because Naruto said it so casually. Like refusing cosmic extinction requests was a normal Tuesday. The Otsutsuki's glowing eyes narrowed slightly. You oppose necessary balance. Naruto crossed his arms stubbornly. I oppose creepy people threatening kids. Quote. Honestly. Also fair. Then suddenly, the Otsutsuki attacked. WHOOOOOOOOOOOM. Reality spikes erupted through the room instantly. Naruto moved first. Golden chakra exploded violently outward. Boom. The Hokage office shattered apart completely. Shockwaves tore across Konoha, and standing in the middle of the destruction, Naruto blocked the attack barehanded using Kurama chakra. The Otsutsuki froze slightly, because most beings couldn't even perceive those attacks. Naruto grinned faintly despite the chaos. Okay, yeah, that one hurt. Then suddenly, Daemon stared at Naruto in horror again. Because when Naruto blocked the attack, for one split second, Daemon saw it again. That impossible future. Naruto standing alone against endless darkness. Bleeding. Broken. Still protecting people anyway. And smiling while doing it. Daemon whispered shakily. Why are you like this? Naruto blinked. Like what? The small boy's fists clenched tightly. You keep protecting things that hurt you. Silence. Naruto froze slightly. Because suddenly, Daemon sounded angry about it again. The Otsutsuki attacked once more. Massive distortion spread across the destroyed office. But this time, Daemon moved. Whoosh. The small boy appeared directly in front of the Otsutsuki instantly. Red eyes glowing violently now. The creature froze. Because Daemon's reflection ability activated automatically. Its own attack reversed instantly. CRAAAAAAASH. Reality spikes pierced straight through the Otsutsuki's body instead. The ancient being staggered backward violently. Naruto's eyes widened. Oh, he pointed dramatically. That is broken. Honestly. Accurate. But Daemon didn't look proud. He looked furious. Not at the Otsutsuki. At Naruto. The boy spun around sharply. Why did you protect me? Naruto blinked repeatedly. Because they were trying to kill you. That's stupid. That feels aggressively ungrateful. Daemon's breathing became uneven now. Because deep down, Naruto's actions terrified him more than the battle. The future he glimpsed, the endless suffering Naruto endured, should have turned him cruel, cold, detached. But instead, Naruto kept protecting people instinctively. And Daemon couldn't understand it. The small boy slowly whispered. You're going to break someday. Silence. Naruto looked at him quietly. Then softly answered, maybe. Daemon froze slightly. Naruto scratched his cheek awkwardly. But until then, golden chakra flickered warmly around the ruined office. I can still help people. The sentence hit Daemon harder than any jutsu. Because suddenly, he realized the horrifying truth. Naruto wasn't strong because pain failed to hurt him. He was strong because he accepted the pain anyway. And still chose kindness afterward. The Otsutsuki slowly regenerated behind them. Silver blood dripping across destroyed stone. Its glowing eyes narrowed dangerously now. Now I understand. Silence. The creature stared directly at Naruto. You are the true anomaly. The air around Konoha became heavier instantly. The remaining Otsutsuki above the village slowly began descending together. 1. Then 5. Then dozens. Daemon's face lost color immediately. Because even he understood what that meant. The entire branch came personally. For Naruto, the sky above Konoha filled with gods. Dozens of pale Otsutsuki figures slowly descended through fractured space while black distortions spree across the heavens like cracks in reality itself. And standing inside the destroyed Hokage office, Daemon stared upward with actual fear in his eyes. Because even he understood what this meant. They didn't send an execution squad. They sent an extinction force. For one person, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto blinked slowly at the sky. Then pointed upward aggressively. Okay, that feels extremely personal. Honestly. Valid reaction. Nearby, Shikamaru Nara already looked spiritually exhausted. How troublesome. One of the Otsutsuki floating above the village calmly spoke. The anomaly must be erased before propagation. Naruto frowned immediately. Can cosmic people stop calling me weird titles? Kurama growled sharply inside the seal. They fear what you represent. Naruto internally sighed. Which is silence. Then softly, the possibility of humanity surpassing fate. Quote, honestly, that sounded way too dramatic for Naruto's current stress level. Then suddenly, the pale Otsutsuki inside the office regenerated fully. Silver blood evaporated from its body while distorted space twisted around its feet. Its glowing eyes remained locked on Naruto now. You repeatedly survive inevitability. Naruto crossed his arms stubbornly. I'm starting to feel judged. Unexpectedly, Daemon stepped closer behind Naruto again. Close enough that his sleeve still brushed Naruto's cloak slightly. Like instinctively staying near him felt safer. Ada noticed instantly. And honestly, that scared her too. Because Daemon trusted nobody. Yet somehow, Naruto's presence calmed him despite everything. The Otsutsuki slowly extended one hand toward Naruto. You should not exist. Silence crushed the ruined office. Naruto stared for several long seconds. Then awkwardly scratched his cheek. That's probably the rudest thing anyone's ever said to me. The creature ignored him completely. Instead, its silver eyes narrowed slightly. You carry too much contradiction. Quote, the air around Konoha distorted harder. You should hate humanity. Daemon froze slightly hearing that. Because deep down, that was exactly what unsettled him too. Naruto survived enough suffering to become catastrophic. But instead, he became kind. And somehow, that frightened gods. Naruto looked quietly toward the burning cracks in the sky above Konoha. Then softly answered, I did hate people sometimes. Silence. But somebody always reached out eventually. Quote, the words echoed strangely through the destroyed office. Iruka, Jiraiya, Hinata, Sasuke. Friends. Bonds. Reasons to keep moving forward. The Otsutsuki's expression darkened. Emotional attachment remains humanity's greatest weakness. Quote, Naruto immediately pointed upward. Actually, it's our best thing. Kurama laughed loudly inside the seal. Now you sound like Hashirama. Naruto internally groaned. That explains so much unfortunately. Quote, then suddenly, the sky above Konoha split open wider. Boom. A gigantic ancient eye slowly opened beyond reality itself. Everyone froze instantly. Even the Otsutsuki inside the office looked uneasy now. Daemon's face lost color completely. Naruto frowned sharply. That reaction is very concerning. The boy's voice trembled slightly. That's the Watcher. Silence. The giant eye beyond the fractured sky stared directly at Naruto now. And suddenly, Naruto felt it, not killing intent, observation. Like something ancient had been watching him his entire life quietly from beyond existence. The feeling made his skin crawl. The Otsutsuki calmly lowered its head slightly toward the eye. The Watcher has finally confirmed the anomaly. Naruto pointed aggressively at the sky. Why does every horrifying thing keep watching me? Honestly, excellent question. Then suddenly, the giant eye blinked, and the world changed. Instantly, Naruto froze. Because suddenly, he stood alone. No office, no demon, no Konoha, just endless darkness stretching forever. The giant eye floated before him silently. Watching, Naruto frowned slightly. Okay, this is definitely weird space magic. Then, a voice echoed across the void. Ancient, infinite, you fascinate us. Naruto crossed his arms stubbornly. That's becoming a problem apparently. Quote, the voice ignored the joke. You repeatedly reject the natural progression of suffering. Silence. Naruto slowly realized something horrifying. The Otsutsuki weren't confused by his strength. They were confused by his compassion. The voice continued softly. Pain should create destruction. Darkness shifted around Naruto violently. Loss should create hatred. Countless visions appeared around him instantly. Nagato, Obito, Madara, broken people consumed by suffering. Then, Naruto himself. Hundreds of possible futures surrounded him. Dark versions, lonely versions, versions where Naruto destroyed villages, ruled through fear, abandoned humanity entirely. The voice echoed deeper now. These outcomes are logical. Naruto stared silently at the futures around him. Then softly muttered, yeah. One vision showed Naruto kneeling beside Hinata's grave alone. Another showed Boruto dead in his arms. Another, Konoha burning beneath endless rain. The Watcher's voice lowered quieter. And still, all the dark futures shattered suddenly, leaving only one version behind. Naruto older, exhausted, smiling gently while protecting frightened civilians. Even after losing everything, the giant eye narrowed slightly. You continue choosing others. Silence. Naruto quietly looked at that final vision. Then scratched his cheek awkwardly. I mean, he smiled faintly. Somebody's gotta. The void became completely silent. Because somehow, that simple answer disturbed something ancient. The Watcher spoke again. You invalidate despair. The sentence echoed endlessly through the darkness. Naruto blinked. That sounds weirdly flattering. Then suddenly, the void shattered. WHOOOOOOOOOOOM. Naruto slammed back into reality inside the ruined Hokage office, gasping slightly. Everyone froze seeing him reappear. Daemon immediately stepped forward. What happened? Naruto looked toward the giant eye still floating above Konoha. Then quietly answered, I think cosmic horror monsters are having emotional problems with optimism. Quote, Shikamaru slowly rubbed his temples. I'm going to retire. Honestly, fair. But the atmosphere above Konoha changed instantly afterward. Because suddenly, the Otsutsuki looked uncertain, not afraid, worried. The pale creature inside the office stared at Naruto carefully now. Like the Watcher's reaction unsettled it deeply. Daemon noticed instantly, and for the first time, understanding crossed his expression. The boy slowly whispered, that's why they fear you. Naruto blinked. Because I'm annoying. Number. Daemon's red eyes locked onto him carefully. Because suffering failed. Silence crushed the office. The boy's voice lowered softer now. They've watched countless civilizations collapse. The fractured sky trembled above Konoha. Pain always turns people into monsters eventually. Then, Daemon looked directly into Naruto's blue eyes again. And quietly finished. But you survived it without becoming one. The words hit harder than any attack. Because suddenly, Naruto realized the horrifying truth. The Otsutsuki weren't hunting him because of Kurama. Not because of power. They feared Naruto because he proved something dangerous. Human beings could suffer endlessly. And still choose kindness anyway. The ruined Hokage office fell completely silent. Outside, Konoha trembled beneath fractured skies while dozens of Otsutsuki hovered above the village like pale gods waiting for judgment. And standing in the middle of it all, Daemon stared at Naruto Uzumaki like he finally understood something terrifying. Because suffering failed. The words echoed softly through the destroyed office. Naruto scratched his cheek awkwardly. That sounds aggressively depressing. Honestly, fair. But Daemon didn't smile. Because deep down, he finally understood why cosmic beings feared Naruto so much. Not because Naruto was strongest. Not because of Kurama. Because Naruto represented a flaw in despair itself. The Otsutsuki expected suffering to corrupt people eventually. Naruto refused. And somehow, that broke their entire understanding of humanity. Then suddenly, the giant eye above Konoha blinked again. WHOOOOOOOOOOOOM. The entire village froze. Naruto immediately sensed it. Every person in Konoha suddenly felt visible. Observed. Like reality itself started studying them individually. Shikamaru's expression darkened instantly. It's searching. Ada stepped closer to the shattered window carefully. Her glowing blue eyes narrowed slightly. Number. Silence. Then softer. It's calculating. Naruto blinked. Those are different. Very. The atmosphere became suffocating. Because suddenly, the eye above Konoha stopped looking at Naruto. And shifted downward toward the village itself. Toward civilians, children, families. The Otsutsuki inside the office calmly spoke. If the anomaly cannot be erased directly. Its silver eyes reflected the fractured heavens coldly. Then emotional destabilization becomes necessary. Silence crushed the room. Naruto's expression slowly hardened. Excuse me. The pale being looked directly at him. You continue choosing compassion because connections sustain you. Quote. The sky above Konoha cracked wider. So we will remove them. Daemon's face lost color instantly. Because even he understood what that meant. Naruto's breathing slowed dangerously. Not loudly angry. Not emotional. Quiet. The dangerous kind. Kurama growled deeply inside the seal. They made a mistake. The Otsutsuki above Konoha slowly raised their hands together. Reality distorted violently across the village. Then suddenly, visions appeared everywhere. People across Konoha froze screaming. Some collapsed instantly. Naruto's eyes widened. What are they doing? Ada's voice trembled slightly, showing worst-case futures. Quote. Silence. The village below erupted into panic. Parents saw dead children. Shinobi saw the village destroyed. Friends saw each other dying. Endless catastrophic futures flooding directly into human minds. The Otsutsuki calmly spoke. Hope collapses efficiently under certainty. Naruto stared at the terrified village below. And suddenly, something inside him snapped. Golden chakra exploded across the ruined office violently. Boom. The entire Hokage building shook. Even the Otsutsuki inside the office stepped backward slightly. Naruto slowly lifted his head. Blue eyes burning now. You're hurting them. The pale being answered emotionlessly. They are temporary. Daemon froze instantly. Because suddenly, Naruto's chakra felt different. Still warm. Still human. But beneath it, something immense awakened. Not hatred. Conviction. The kind powerful enough to terrify gods. Naruto quietly stepped forward. The floor cracked beneath each footstep. You know. Golden chakra spiraled harder around him. I've dealt with a lot of broken people. The Otsutsuki narrowed its eyes carefully. Naruto kept walking. People who thought pain justified hurting others. Kurama's chakra roared around him like sunlight exploding. People who thought despair made them wise. Silence crushed the office. Then Naruto stopped directly in front of the Otsutsuki. And smiled. Not kindly. Dangerously calm. But honestly. The air around him distorted violently now. You guys are just really dramatic bullies. The room exploded. WHOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOO The entire building shook violently. Shockwaves erupted across Konoha. Villagers looked upward in shock as the pale god smashed through multiple rooftops below. Demon stared wide-eyed. He hit an Otsutsuki. Shikamaru slowly rubbed his face. At this point I don't even react anymore. Honestly. Fair. Then suddenly, all the Otsutsuki above Konoha moved simultaneously. Naruto immediately sensed it. Oh, that's bad. Reality spears erupted from the heavens instantly. Thousands. Enough to erase the village entirely. But before Naruto could move, Daemon suddenly stepped forward, red eyes glowing violently. The small boy's voice echoed sharply across the battlefield. Don't touch him. Silence. Then, the impossible happened. Every spear reflected backward instantly. WHOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOO tore through reality around them violently. Entire dimensional fractures shattered apart. Naruto stared blankly. Okay, that power is ridiculous. Quote. Daemon stood trembling slightly. Because reflecting attacks from one enemy was easy. Reflecting attacks from dozens of Otsutsuki simultaneously nearly destroyed his body. Blood dripped quietly from his nose. Naruto noticed instantly. Kid, I said stop calling me that. His voice sounded weaker now. Naruto stepped toward him carefully. Daemon immediately grabbed Naruto's arm tightly. And for one split second, Naruto saw it, the future again, not through Daemon's power, through contact. Flashes exploded across Naruto's mind instantly. Konoha burning, Boruto crying, Hinata reaching toward empty darkness. Naruto standing alone against endless pale figures beneath the dead sky. And Daemon, small, terrified, watching Naruto smile anyway while dying slowly. The vision shattered instantly. Naruto staggered slightly. What the hell? Daemon's red eyes trembled. That's the future they're trying to create. Quote. Silence crushed the battlefield. Naruto slowly looked toward the fractured sky again. Then toward terrified villagers below. And suddenly, he understood. The Otsutsuki weren't merely attacking Konoha. They were trying to prove something. That hope eventually fails. That suffering always wins. That even Naruto Uzumaki would eventually break. The realization made Naruto unexpectedly angry. Because honestly, he was really tired of cosmic entities trying to emotionally manipulate humanity. Then suddenly, the giant eye above Konoha finally spoke directly. Its voice echoed across reality itself. Why do you continue resisting despair? Quote. The village fell completely silent. Everyone heard it. Naruto slowly looked upward, then quietly answered. Because somebody has to. Silence. Then softer. And because kids are watching. His hand rested gently atop Daemon's head suddenly. The small boy froze instantly. Naruto smiled faintly despite the chaos around them. If I give up. Golden chakra flickered warmly around the ruined village. Then what happens to them? The giant eye above Konoha narrowed slowly. Because suddenly, it understood something horrifying. Naruto's strength wasn't created by suffering. It was created by responsibility. Love. Connection. The exact things the Otsutsuki considered weaknesses. Daemon stared silently at Naruto beside him. And deep down, fear changed into something else completely. Not trust yet. Something more dangerous. Hope. Konoha stood beneath a broken sky. Black fractures spread across reality while dozens of pale Otsutsuki floated above the village like silent gods waiting for judgment. But something had changed. Because for the first time, they looked uncertain. And standing in the middle of the ruined Hokage tower, Naruto Uzumaki rested one hand gently atop Daemon's head. If I give up. Golden chakra flickered warmly around the battlefield. Then what happens to them? Silence crushed the heavens. The giant eye beyond reality slowly narrowed. Because suddenly, the ancient watcher realized something terrifying. Naruto's kindness wasn't weakness. It was resistance itself. And that frightened beings who built entire civilizations around despair. Daemon stared up at Naruto silently. Blood still dripped faintly from his nose after reflecting the Otsutsuki attacks. But for the first time, the fear inside him felt different now. Not terror. Confusion. Because Naruto should have broken already. The future said he would suffer endlessly. Lose endlessly. fight endlessly. Yet somehow, Naruto still protected people like it mattered. The small boy quietly whispered, "Why do you keep doing this?" Naruto blinked. "Doing what?" Demon's red eyes trembled slightly. "Caring." Silence. The battlefield around them remained frozen. Even the Otsutsuki above Konoha waited silently now. Naruto scratched his cheek awkwardly. "Well," he smiled faintly, "because somebody cared about me first." Quote. The answer hit Demon harder than anything else tonight. Because suddenly, he understood the horrifying simplicity behind Naruto's strength. Not destiny, not power, love. One person reached out to lonely Naruto once. And Naruto spent the rest of his life becoming that person for others. The giant eye above Konoha slowly spoke again. Its voice echoed like collapsing worlds. "Compassion creates suffering." Naruto immediately pointed upward. "Yeah, and isolation creates psychopaths." Honestly, even Shikamaru almost admired that response. The fractured sky trembled violently. Because somehow, Naruto kept talking to cosmic horrors like irritated neighbors. Then suddenly, the Otsutsuki surrounding Konoha moved together. Reality warped around the village violently. The giant eye widened fully, and the heavens themselves began collapsing downward. Naruto's expression sharpened instantly. "That's definitely bad." Ada's glowing eyes widened slightly. "They're forcing dimensional convergence." Shikamaru blinked. "Normal people words. Konoha is about to stop existing." Silence. Naruto pointed aggressively at the sky. "Why does everyone keep saying apocalyptic things so calmly?" Too late. The fractured heavens cracked apart completely. Boom. Massive dimensional tears spread above Konoha violently. Entire sections of the village flickered between realities. Buildings vanished and reappeared. People screamed. Time itself distorted. And from beyond the collapsing sky, more eyes opened, watching. Ancient, infinite. Demon froze completely. Because now, even he understood. This wasn't merely an attack anymore. The Otsutsuki were trying to erase the possibility Naruto represented entirely. The giant eye echoed across reality again. Humanity must remember despair. Naruto slowly stepped forward. Golden chakra erupted around him harder now. The earth beneath the Hokage tower cracked violently. Wind exploded around him like a storm. For beings obsessed with evolution. Kurama roared inside the seal. "You guys never learn anything." The watcher's eye narrowed sharply. Naruto looked toward the terrified village below. Children crying. Shinobi protecting civilians. People still helping each other despite reality collapsing around them. Then Naruto smiled softly. People keep choosing each other anyway. Silence. Then, he entered full Kurama mode. WHOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOO darkness above the village shook violently. Naruto's chakra spread everywhere instantly, protecting civilians, stabilizing collapsing buildings, holding reality together through sheer force of will. And suddenly, Daemon saw it, the future again, but different this time. Naruto standing against endless darkness. Not alone anymore. People beside him. Boruto, Hinata, friends, even Daemon himself. The future shifted, changed, because Naruto refused to carry everything alone now. Daemon's eyes widened sharply. The future changed. Ada looked toward him instantly. You saw it too. The small boy slowly nodded. Then quietly, almost shocked, he infected destiny. Honestly, that sounded concerning. The giant eye above Konoha trembled violently now. Because Naruto's chakra wasn't merely protecting people. It was stabilizing possibility itself. Hope spread faster than fear. And the Otsutsuki suddenly realized something catastrophic. The more Naruto protected humanity, the stronger humanity became emotionally. The exact opposite outcome they wanted. The Watcher's voice deepened angrily. Enough. The heavens split fully apart. A colossal pale hand descended toward Konoha itself. Large enough to erase the entire village instantly. Shikamaru's face lost all color. We can't stop that. Naruto stared upward silently, then cracked his knuckles. Probably not alone. Silence. Then suddenly, Daemon stepped beside him, red eyes glowing sharply now. Ada moved beside Daemon too, blue eyes shimmering like starlight. Naruto blinked. You guys helping? Daemon crossed his arms stubbornly. Don't make it weird. Quote. Ada smiled softly. Too late. And for one impossible moment, 3 lonely people stood together beneath the collapsing heavens. A boy feared by gods. A girl cursed to never be loved naturally. And a child terrified of hope itself. The watcher above reality hesitated. Because suddenly, the anomaly spread. Naruto wasn't changing fate alone anymore. He was changing people. Then, the giant hand descended. Boom. Naruto roared. Kurama chakra erupted violently upward. Daemon activated reflection instantly. Ada's blue cosmic energy warped possibility itself around them. 3 impossible powers collided together. The sky exploded. Reality shattered. And across Konoha, people looked upward in awe as the gigantic pale hand cracked apart slowly. The watcher screamed for the first time. Not in pain, fear. Because suddenly, humanity looked dangerous again. Naruto pushed harder. Golden chakra burned brighter across the village. Then he grinned wildly despite the apocalypse happening above him. Come on. He pointed upward aggressively. If you're gonna destroy reality, at least make it challenging. Quote. Even now, Daemon stared at him like he was insane. Then unexpectedly, the small boy laughed. A real laugh. Not cruel. Not mocking. Free. And hearing it, Naruto smiled wider. Because deep down, that mattered more than winning. The giant hand finally shattered completely. WHOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOO above Konoha vanished one by one into broken dimensions. The giant eye beyond reality slowly closed. Retreating, watching, waiting. Then silence fell across the village at last. The sky healed slowly overhead. Stars returned. Reality stabilized. And Konoha survived. Naruto dropped out of Kurama mode immediately afterward. Okay. He pointed weakly upward. I officially hate space. Honestly. Fair. Nearby. Daemon quietly stared at him for several long seconds. Then softly whispered, "You really are impossible." Naruto blinked tiredly. I get that a lot. The small boy looked toward the peaceful village below. People helping each other already. Rebuilding. Surviving. And for the first time in his life, Daemon understood why the Otsutsuki feared Naruto so much. Not because Naruto could destroy worlds. Because he could save them. Even after suffering endlessly, Naruto still made people want to believe in tomorrow. And that kind of hope was far more dangerous than hatred ever could.